Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, playing a sweet Rakdos deck called Dino Sword by Blastoderm. Before I get into the list and talk just a little bit about it, the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for doing that. And information about the deck list and timestamps are in the description just in case you want to jump ahead. So the namesake cards of the deck, of course, are Rotting Regisaur and Embercleave. We're playing 4 Regisaurs and 3 Embercleave, and well, Regisaur is a pretty simple card. It is a 7/6 for 3. Pretty good deal. It does have a bit of a downside though. It says at the beginning of your upkeep you must discard a card. No way around it. Still, it is a 7/6 for 3. Can't complain about that. And then Embercleave, I'm sure you know about this card, especially if you played Standard. This thing has been plaguing the game since it came out in Throne of Eldraine. If we can equip this onto the Rotting Regisaur, things are going to get silly. Of course, we have other creatures we can equip the Embercleave to, a whole suite of sweet 1 and 2 CMC creatures. We're playing 4 Knight of the Ebon Legion, 4 Fervent Champions, 4 Dreadhorde Butchers, and 4 Robber of the Rich. All of these do something a little different, but they are all equally powerful in their own respect. Knight of the Ebon Legion is a 1/2 for 1 that has a great activated ability that allows you to pump it up by 3+3/+3, and it gets Death Touch for the low cost of 3 mana. Fervent Champion is a first strike hasty creature, 1/1 for 1, that pumps up other knights when it attacks. The only other knight in the deck is the Knight of the Ebon Legion, so just a little bit of synergy there. Still pretty sweet if you have 2 Fervent Champions on the battlefield, both of them attacking as 2/1s, first strike. Can't complain. Next, Dreadhorde Butcher is a 1/1 for 2, but it grows very quickly. It also has haste, and then it says whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I've seen the Dreadhorde Butcher get up pretty big, and if it manages to reach, +2, +2/+2, or +3/+3, this thing is going to be very hard for the opponent to deal with because it has another line of text that says when the Dreadhorde Butcher dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Very hard for opponent that is playing creatures. And then Robber the Rich, yet another hasty 2/2 for 2 that says when Robber the Rich attacks, if the defending player has more cards in hand than you, exile a top card of their library. During any turn you attacked with a rogue, you may cast that card and you may spend mana as though it were any mana of any color to cast that spell. Great little card advantage generator with the Robber of the Rich. Next, we are playing a few more beefier creatures. We're playing 4 Bone Crusher Giants, 2 Phoenix of Ash, and 4 Spawn of Mayhem. Bone Crusher Giant, I've gone over it before. You know what this card does. Stomp is a great utility spell. Goes face, it removes a creature. Great. And it says damage can't be prevented. It might come up once in a while. And then as a 4/3 body that has a pretty good ability whenever it's targeted, it's going to be a threat that the opponent will have trouble dealing with. Phoenix of Ash, once again, another hasty creature for 2 and a red. It has the ability to pump itself up by +2/+0, and then it escapes for the low cost of just 3 cards from your graveyard. That is insane. Comes back as a 3/3. So this thing is really good against rogues or against any opponent that's playing heavy spot removal. And then Spawn of Mayhem, a 4/4 for 4, but it has a spectacle cost of 1 black, so probably we're going to be able to get it out for its spectacle cost most of the time because we're playing a whole bunch of 1 and 2 CMC aggressive creatures. And then it has Flying Trample, oh my god, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. It is symmetrical, so it will be hitting you. Still, we're doing a lot of damage to the opponent, so it's probably going to be hurting them a lot more than it will hurt us. Then, if we have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. That's just icing, right? Next, the last spell in the deck is Shadow Spear, just 2 of. This thing's really good because it gives trample and lifelink. If the opponent is generating a whole bunch of 1/1 tokens, for example, they can chump block the Rotting Regisaur all day. Well, this giving it trample can help us get over that. And then it has a really great activated ability. Permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible. Doesn't come up very often, but you should recognize that it's there. Next, we should also mention that Fervent Champion has, well, one great ability that works especially well with equipment. Equipment abilities you activate that target Fervent Champion costs 3 less to activate. Well, just conveniently, Embercleave and Shadow Spear both have equip costs of 3 or less. So we can equip either of these to the Fervent Champion for free. Oh yeah. Next, a notable omission from the deck is Scrap Heap Scrounger. When I saw this deck originally, I thought, well, why isn't Scrap Heap Scrounger in the deck? And I think I might actually start playing a few games with this in there just to test it. I think it works especially well with the Rotting Regisaur because we have to discard a card. Well, we should be trying to discard something that will benefit us from the graveyard, and I think the old Scrounger would be a great addition to the deck simply because it's not a big deal to discard it. As far as lands go, we are playing 25 lands. That's quite a few lands, but we want to make sure that we're hitting 3 and 4 CMC or 4 mana as soon as we can, because we want to make sure that we're getting our Mayhem Devils and Embercleaves out of our hand as quickly as we can. Also, we have some really great dump abilities. We can dump as much mana as we can into the Knight of the Ebon Legion. I've actually pumped up the Knight 2 or 3 times in some games, and it's fantastic. Suddenly it's becoming a monstrous creature for a pretty fair cost. And then Castle Lochwain is the only notable land in the deck. Draw a few cards. Why not? Next, over in the sideboard, we are playing a small removal package. 3 Fry, 3 Abrade, and 3 Noxious Grasp. Both Fry and Noxious Grasp are kind of conditional removal, but they're very powerful when we bring them in against a white-blue deck, usually Fry for Planeswalkers like Teferi and Narset, and then Noxious Grasp, really good against, obviously, green and white, Selesnya Coco decks, for example. Abrade, super good, just all-round removal spell, 3 damage to any target, removes a lot of things in the format, and then Destroy Target Artifact is really important against things like Great Henge or your opponent's Embercleaves, for example. And the last 2 cards in the sideboard, 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Soul Guide Lantern. Soul Guide Lantern, obviously, for graveyard strategies. And then Thoughtseize, bring it in the control matchup. Maybe you got to get rid of your opponent's Wrath of God or Doomscar, for example. So that is the Rakdos Dinosaur deck. I think it is super fun. I've been having a great time with it. The big problem with the deck is, well, it costs 41 rare wild cards and 11 mythics, so it is not cheap, but it is playing a whole bunch of powerful creatures that I think if you have these cards, you gotta try it out. Let's jump into some games and see how it goes. See you over there. All right, playing some Historic. Got some Dino Blade or Dino Sword, whatever you want to call it, going. It's a pretty sweet looking deck. Opening hand, not the best with 3 of the equipments and only 1 creature, so gonna have to throw it back. And this hand looks a lot better. So I think I value the Knight of the Ebon Legion over the Fervent Champion, so I'll just curve Knight into Dreadhorde Butcher into Spawn of Mayhem, ideally. And then hopefully find like an Embercleave to follow all that up. Okay, so opponent took their time with their mulligan decision, but that's fine. They're down to 6 cards, and let's see what they're on. They have their own Knight of the Ebon Legion. Well, there's the Embercleave. But it kind of makes my Dreadhorde Butcher useless. So I think I just put it onto the field, but I can't really attack in. Then next turn, I can threaten with the Knight of the Ebon Legion pump. Hopefully that damage goes through, and then I can get the Spawn of Mayhem onto the field. Okay, well, things are not working out. Oh, man. Another unfortunate thing here is I have kind of bad mana. Only 1 red source for this Embercleave, but I need 2 black sources for the Spawn of Mayhem. So in a bit of a spot. Opponent attacks. They can pump up the Knight. That would be fine. Sure. So that gives me the opportunity to get the Spawn of Mayhem onto the field with a discount. What's going on with these Dreadhorde Butchers? And I pumped them up to more threatening 2/2s. So I'm not sure if I would have attacked in the opponent's position, but who knows what they're holding in hand. They also have a little bit awkward mana. I wonder if we're in the mirror. That would be a very interesting way to start off this video. By the way, check out those sleeves. A gift from a friend who ordered a bunch of secret lairs and allowed me to take the codes because they don't play on Arena. So best draw here is certainly a red source. Okay, black source it is. Yeah, that's real unfortunate. Well, I guess I'm probably just going to get in with the Spawn of Mayhem. I still think it's very hard for them to attack in with the Dreadhorde Butchers. Even if they attack in, pump the Knight of the Ebon Legion, it's not such a big deal. Now, they can throw the Robber of the Rich in front of the Spawn of Mayhem, but I don't think that would be a thing to do. I am going to put out the Dreadhorde Butcher simply because I don't want them to be able to possibly draw a card from my deck with the Robber of the Rich. And why not have it on the field? They're not going to be playing any kind of board wipe. Okay, well, attack by the opponent. That feels like an Embercleave to me. So let's put that there. Yeah. Well, unfortunate that they found their Embercleave mana before I did. They decided to put it on that. Sure. So, do I want to kill the Dreadhorde Butcher, or do I want to kill, or just do the damage face? So if I do the damage to the face, they're probably going to kill my Dread Butcher. Gotta think. Let's say, imagine I draw a red source next turn. That means Spawn of Mayhem is going to be swinging for 10. If I don't put it on the face... Well, I still have lethal. If I draw a red source... No, I don't have lethal because of them killing the Dreadhorde Butcher here. Maybe I put the damage on the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Because then when they hit the Dreadhorde Butcher, they don't want to kill my other Butcher. And then that'll make things very awkward for them. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to put it here. Let's see where they put this damage. Okay, they decide to let me kill the Knight of the Ebon Legion. I think I'm probably okay with that. Okay. So, I guess Robber of the Rich goes out. Do I swing in? If I do this, I take them down. I put them at lethal range for next turn. Although they're going to hit me for 6, and then I'm going to hit myself for 1. So if they have a Dreadhorde Butcher, or if they have a Bonecrusher Giant, I die. No, I die to the Remnant Up Ruin, so I got to consider that. So I can't let the Robber of the Rich hit me for full power. So maybe I just go in with the Robber and the Dreadhorde Butcher. Okay. Yep. I think that's probably what I got to do. Very unfortunate mana draw here. This game would be so different if I had just drawn my mana a little bit differently, right? Knight of the Ebon Legion, sure. I imagine they're going to put out the Bonecrusher Giant as well. But by playing out the Knight of the Ebon Legion now, they allow me to let the damage of the Robber of the Rich go through. Okay. Oh, well, there we go. Sweet. They can block, obviously, but still going to be enough damage through. 14 minus 3. Pretty sweet. Cool. Yeah, I definitely think the opponent's play there was attacking with the Robber of the Rich, forcing me to block with the Spawn of Mayhem, going with the trade, and then having the follow-up. If I don't block with the Robber of the Rich, they can hit me with the Embercleave, or not with the Embercleave, but the Remnant Up Ruins. I think. Okay, what do I want to bring up into this game against the Mirror? Maybe a Braids? I think that's probably a pretty good card. It hits their creatures. It also hits Embercleaves. What don't I want against the opponent's deck? I don't think they're playing a ton of interaction. They're probably just playing the Bonecrushers. So maybe creatures that just automatically die to Bonecrusher, probably not going to be the best idea to keep in. So maybe take out a couple of Robbers and maybe just 3 Robbers. Fervent Champion could also probably come out. Maybe if it's better to keep a couple of Robbers and go down 1 Fervent Champion. But I do like having Fervent Champions as groups. Still, with the free equip from Shadow Spear and the discounted, oh, it's a free equip with Embercleave. I didn't even, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, probably good to keep just a few of them in. I always forget that Embercleave's equip cost is 3, because most of the time when you flash out Embercleave for whatever your double red, you win the game with it, right? It's very rare to have an Embercleave on the field, I feel. So the fact that it taps for or equips for 3 slips the mind sometimes. And for some reason, Fervent Champion is very similar to Questing Beast. It's just a word soup. It has haste and first strike and pumps other boys, and that's a little bit of everything. So this is good. We have our mana this time. A lot of mana this time. So go out with the Blood Crypt. And then I might be incentivized to kill this Knight of the Ebon Legion, because that thing can get out of control pretty quickly. And then I'm hoping the Rotting Regisaur into the Spawn of Mayhem will be a pretty good turn 3 and turn 4 that they might not be able to deal with. I have no idea what kind of removal they could be packing. So my opponent with the big decision there, I don't know what they're thinking about. It's turn 2. Play out your mountain, attack with the Knight of the Ebon Legion, hold up your Abrade. Simple enough, right? I think I'm going to value the Castle Lock Lane. And then, do I just want to go out with my own Knight of the Ebon Legion, or do I want to hold up the Abrade? I think I probably want to just hold the Abrade. Hopefully next turn they are incentivized to play land and pump the Knight. Okay, so I'd much rather that Bone Crusher damage go face than killing my Knight of the Ebon Legion, so holding that back was beneficial. Now, I hope they pump here. Pump, pump, pump. No. Well, now we have a Bone Crusher, and I think I probably have to hit the Bone Crusher Giant. A little annoying. I'm going to take 3 damage this turn, but it's not 4. And, well, there's a big boy. So, play out that, and Rotting Regisaur time, even if they pump up the Knight of the... Well, no, that's not true. It's going to gain Death Touch, because of course it does. But I think do I trade a Rotting Regisaur for a Knight of the Ebon Legion? Probably. Especially since I'm bleeding life a little bit here. They have a second Knight. Really? See, I would have liked to see an attack from the Knight first. Oh, okay, they have the land. So, back to questioning whether or not I'm going to block. I think I have to, because if I don't block and they hit me for 4, they're going to pump up both of these Knights, and I think it's probably fine to just trade here. Yeah. Okay, got a couple of Knights for myself. So play out the Swamp. Now I can go out with the Spawn of Mayhem or Regisaur plus Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yeah. I think loading up the board might be a little bit better. I'm a little bit afraid of Spawn of Mayhem. The amount of aggression that the opponent has. Losing life each turn doesn't sound like a great proposition. So do I want to get rid of the land, or do I want to get rid of the Knight? If I get rid of the land, well, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, Spawn of Mayhem or Robber plus Knight. I think it's probably just Spawn of Mayhem, and I guess I gotta try to win this in the air now. I wonder if these Rotting Regisaurs are gonna go to battle this turn. I have a feeling that's going to be the case. Scrap Heap Scrounger. One of the cards that I was really surprised wasn't in my particular build of this deck. Definitely a contender for the deck. Maybe in the sideboard in grindier matchups. Yeah. So, I think I'm fine doing this. They are holding up enough mana to pump their Knight, though. So I gotta be aware of that. Okay. I think I'm gonna put out that tapped, and then I'm going to hold up the pump on the Knight of the Ebon Legion if I have to double block. Maybe... Well, no, that double blocking against a creature with Death Touch is never cool. The Death Touch really throws me off with this, but I guess that's appropriate for the card. Okay, let's see if the opponent gets feisty. I might just be incentivized to let this through. Oh, wow. Okay, well, yeah, this is easy. I block here, and I block here. Sure. Pump here. Take an extra damage. But... so how much damage do I have now? Because I can double pump. This is going to represent 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dead. Yeah. Alright. Pretty cool. Nice little start to the deck. Winning in the mirror on the play and on the draw. Back-to-back games. So, good start. Let's go on to the next one. Alright. More Dino Blade. Opening hand looks pretty good. I like the way it looks for sure. Have all of our colors. Can get out a possible turn 3 spawn. Sure. I like the opponent's land there. Or not land, sleeves, rather, sorry. I saw the land draw and I was thinking, oh, why'd I have to draw another land? And then the brain defaulted to say the word land. Because that's how brains work, apparently. So Castle Ventress probably against Mono Blue Tempo, or maybe it's Azorius Control and they're just missing the white right now. Okay, or Merfolk. Sure thing. Well, Phoenix of Ash is pretty sweet. I think what I'm doing is... I could attack and Bone Crusher the Silver Gill Adept. I could also just hold off this turn and maybe hit a Lord next turn, because I got to imagine they're going to have Lords in their deck. I think that's probably the better approach. Missing their green mana for the Kunena's Speaker there. No attack and nothing from the opponent. Huh. I wonder if Merfolk play any kind of like counter magic. I wonder. Well, Robber the Rich, another good card a little bit down the line. I don't hate attacking here, but if they have the Merfolk that they can flash in, and yeah, they could have the Merfolk that they flash in and I don't know what, tap and remove all the abilities from my creature. That would be really devastating, but I think I probably have to take the chance on that. No damage, or no blocks, so we get in, and I think, yeah, take the risk, try to put out a Spawn of Mayhem. They do have some kind of interaction because the game is pausing there, but it lands, so that's good. Okay, the Cutthroat. So, are they just playing that because of Merfolk, or are they playing it because they have cards that are going to work well with the second ability of the Merfolk? The Cutthroat. I don't know. Castle Luck Lane. Sure, Luck Wayne. Kind of just want to put out a Phoenix of Ash and crash in, grow the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Don't hate it. Okay, I imagine they have some kind of combat trick here, but I'm going to play into it. I know they're missing lands. These cards are quite powerful. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with the opponent's hand. But I'm nervous because, first of all, this Cutthroat can really get out of control. Now they have 2 Cutthroats, so yeah, even scarier. And they find their green source with the Hinterland Harbor. Okay. Well, second Bone Crusher's pretty cool there. I kind of want to hit these Cutthroats with the Bone Crushers, and I might actually go after them. If they cast something here that will pump up one of the Cutthroats, I think I'll probably take a shot at killing the 3/2, hoping they don't have 2 instant speed spells. They're going to take 6. Well, so now things get a little bit weird, because now do I hold the Bone Crusher Giants up for face damage? I could have pumped the Phoenix of Ash there too, but think it's probably okay to err on the side of caution. Play a 4 CMC instant spell. Come on. There we go. Okay. I think I do want to hit the second Brightborn. Is it Brightborn? Yeah, Brineborn Cutthroat. Just because if they hit a Merfolk Lord, that's going to get annoying. They hit 2 Merfolk Lords. So, those Bone Crushers would not have been very effective against those hits. I'm fine with that. Make them think I have something. For Commander's Speaker. That's a big boy. These Marrow Ridgery is such a cool card. I know it's kind of used in modern Merfolk. I don't know if it's like a staple. I see it pop up here and there in lists. But it's really cool that they put it into Historic, I think. I really want to see more tribal stuff coming into Historic. I think there's a lot of room to give tribal a lot more support in the format, and that could really help slow down other archetypes that are getting a little bit too powerful. Did they untap my Dragon Skull Summit? Okay. This is getting scary. So they're basically able to dump their hand because they can just keep untapping their lands with the Marrow Ridgery. And now they're going to be hitting me. If they have another Lord, I'm dead. If they have a Collected Company, very good chance that I'm dead. They don't. So are they just accepting that they might die from the Spawn of Mayhem and the Phoenix of Ash? Or do they have, if they have a flash, if they have another Cutthroat, they're going to be able to tap both my Phoenix of Ash and Spawn of Mayhem, and I die. Maybe I should have saved... Well, no, if I had saved the Bone Crushers for face, I would have died. Yep, they do have the third Brineborn. Really sweet hit from the opponent on the Collected Company. And to have 3 Brineborn Cutthroats, well, not a whole lot I can do with that. Do I have a hit? I guess if I hit another Phoenix of Ash, I can be okay. I don't. So, I die. Right, I have 6 mana. I can put out a bit of a wall, but what's the point? Okie doke. Pretty cool performance from the Merfolk. I love seeing this. Very fortunate for the opponent to obviously hit the way they did, but that's how it is. Come on. No blocks. Just let them get full satisfaction from slamming my face in. But I think we have some sideboard cards that can help. So, Noxious Grasp has targets, but I think it might be a little narrow. A Braid is definitely good. Fry might actually be pretty cool. It hits a lot of their lords. Same thing as the last game. I feel like my low to the ground creatures are probably going to be quite ineffective in this matchup. They're probably just not going to get in for very much. So I think I will take out 2 Fervent Champions, 2 Robber of the Rich, rely on early game removal, and go into big stuff later. That's kind of the game plan. I feel like Thoughtseize might not be the worst thing for Collected Company. Knight of the Ebon Legion might just be... Well, maybe it's the Fervent Champion that's not good. Keep the Shadow Spear in. And maybe bring in 2 Thoughtseize? I don't know. Thoughtseize... Yeah, I'm on the play. So on the play, I think Thoughtseize are going to be fine. Alright. Next game. Really wondering about these Merfolk. If that last game was a very good indication of the power of the deck, or if the opponent ended up just kind of drawing well. I'm very, very curious about that. And then also, what was I gonna say? I think it's really neat to see a tribal deck. You know, I said it before. There needs to be more of them. I really want to try something like dinosaurs out, but it's too costly. I might eventually. Now this hand is so good. What do I take? Maybe I take the brine board, and then hopefully next turn they play out the Merfolk Mistbinder, and I can hit it with the Abrade. That might be the play. I really kind of want to get the Collected Company, but I gotta hope that they just don't get to that point. They do have good counter magic. Still, I think it's the Brineborn. It's just such an annoying card to deal with. And I'm going to need to start drawing some action, no more lands. So let's see if they play out the Mistbinder as predicted. They do. Okay, more lands. No problem. Maybe I should have attacked there, see if they would block. There's no way they would, but... Well, Spawn of Mayhem's good. Let's attack. No block. I can get out this boy for a discount. Not like it matters. Put out the Castle Lock Lane. And I think the only path to victory here is, and I hate to say it, they get stuck on lands. They didn't get stuck on lands. So now the Marrow Regery is going to enter the field, start tapping down things each turn, and I am in trouble. Well, I'm attacking with both. I'm pumping up the Knight 100% of the time, taking them down to 8. And I think I'm going to put out the Dreadhorde Butcher. Why not get another threat onto the field? And hope that this Spawn of Mayhem is going to be enough. If they have, well, if they hit a land here, they're going to have Collected Company up, and that means the Marrow Regery is going to be able to tap probably at least the Spawn of Mayhem. They're going to hit at least one card. They might just be holding up the Negate and Wizard's Retort. They did miss their 4th land, so a little unfortunate. Okay. Sure. So this Knight of the Ebon Legion is going to be super annoying for them to deal with because I'm going to be able to double pump it with this pathway. They take 1 from the spawn, and there's old Roddy Face. So put that out and go to combat. I don't know if they throw something in front of it. They have to. They're going to have to throw the Cutthroat in front of it. If they don't, they lose. Maybe they don't know the Knight can double pump, though. Nope, they do. Okie doke. Well, I pump it once, murder that, and then put out old Rot Face. There's the Collected Company mana. Oh boy. Lucky, lucky boy. Well, hitting them with the Spawn of Mayhem is pretty cool, but I think they're going to have a pretty good lethal crackback very soon. Okay. No. Oh, Mirror Regery is only on cast. I didn't know that. Oh. Okay. Well, I guess they lose? Maybe they didn't know that either. But we get in for 6 in the air. Don't even need to pump. And go to game 3. All right. Don't think I'm going to make any changes. Just roll with it how it is. Maybe I should have done something with the Thought Seizes now that I think about it. But we'll see if it works out. All right, game 3 against Merfolk. Getting exciting. This is a really close matchup. I did not expect it to get like this, but Marrow Regery proving that it is a valuable card. Double Thought Seize, opening hand with 4 lands. It looks so sketchy, right? So I could potentially cripple their hand. The opponent's keeping 7. I don't think this Dreadhorde Butcher is good enough. You know, the opponent plays 1 creature and the Dreadhorde Butcher is basically stonewalled. Do I just have to throw this away? And yeah, I don't think this is good enough. Uh-oh. All right, so it's a worse first hand. Well, sometimes that happens. But there's the Mistcloak Herald. Oh gosh. So it's unlikely that my whatever it's called, Dreadhorde Butcher was going to be getting in. This one's not going to get in either. But at least I have removal for the Mistbinder. They're going to hit me for 2 here. That hurts. Hey, back-to-back fries are pretty good. I can hit that. Pass. I could have done that during their turn as well, but I think that's okay. Yeah, might lose this one simply because of the awkward draws. Maybe I should have kept the first hand. What do you think? Should I have kept the Double Thoughtseize Dreadhorde Butcher hand or not? Love to know what you think. So I think I am going to put out the Dreadhorde Butcher, and I'm not going to attack because it's a pretty good blocker if they don't have another Lord. Because the Dreadhorde Butcher can get a very cool 2-for-1. Although they hit the 3rd land, so that might be a Marrow Regery. No. Okay. So they get in with the unblockable Herald. Cool. Well, Robber the Rich is not the worst, because I can do Robber plus Fry. A Wizard's Retort. Well, that's rude. Alright. Hold off. Keep the Fry up. Hopefully they're not holding a couple of Collected Companies. But the way these games have kind of been going, that seems to be what the opponent's up to. Huh. Well, I'm going to take a block here. I think that was a bit of a gift from the opponent. Sure. 2-for-1. Yep. Thank you. So I could kill the Commander Speaker with the Bone Crusher Giant while I can. Although I do have the Fry. So you know what? I think putting out the Phoenix of Ash now. Hopefully getting in for 2. And then later on maybe I can Fry a Lord and then hit something with the Bone Crusher Giant. Although they might have a counterspell for the Phoenix. Don't have enough cards in the graveyard to exile. Oh, I do have enough cards. Requires 3. Let's start attacking. Not a race I win right now, but I think it might be okay. A Marrow Regery here would be alright. Obviously, it would be 6 damage, but old MB Cleave. So do I want to go with the Bone Crusher Fry plan? Maybe I should be leaving the Phoenix of Ash back so I can escape it. Put it as a blocker. It comes back as a 3/3. Because things are looking sketchy. Yeah, I'm going to hold off 1 turn. Hold the Fry and the Bone Crusher. They had no play there. Very interesting. Okay, well, let's deploy Bone Crusher. Really hope this lands. They have a negate. That sucks, but still, we can trade there, and I think, because the opponent... Oh, I goofed. I should have blocked and done it the other way. Yep, my bad. I forgot Fry had that condition. One of the few cards in the deck that I can't actually hit. Little bit of a dumb moment. Doesn't matter what cards I exile. Alright, Phoenix of Ash is back as a better blocker. Yeah, that might cost me the game there. That was pretty bad, but yeah, and they're having trouble, so they got a powerful hand. is making me think they might be holding like 4 collected companies. So I might have to win before they can get up to. Oh, they have another Brineborn. They do have the 5th or 4th land now. So, uh-oh. I don't know what to do. I think I have to just hold off again. They're gonna play the Brineborn. No, a Merfolk Trickster, just as bad. I will use the Abrade while I can. Let's hit the Trickster. Go Merfolk. This is a really... We are on a mulligan to 5 and 2 Embercleaves in hand. Very, very awkward. Hit the Mist Binder. Take 4 down to 5 though, so I'm bleeding. And that's a useless land. It kind of sets up Embercleave eventually, but I have a feeling that they are going to flash out the Brineborn cards. I can't say, right? I just call it a Cutthroat. I'm going to put out the Cutthroat. They might have a Lord to follow it up, and then I am dead because I can only block 1 of the 3, and they'll hit me for 6. So, pretty tough loss to swallow, but I think it was a pretty cool game. Really neat to see Merfolk just doing cool things. I might have to... There. As expected. Might have to look into Merfolk. I don't think it's an expensive deck. Those are all uncommons. Of course, you're going to have a couple of rare lands, but for the most part, it looks pretty budget friendly. That is sweet. Collected Company being a rare in the decks, but I bet it's maybe like 12 rares? Why didn't the opponent attack? Okay. Wow. I can flash an Embercleave. I don't know. There's literally nothing I can do. No reason for the opponent not to attack there. They're just looking for the absolute safety. All right. Let's put the old Embercleave onto the Phoenix of Ash, and then give the opponent the old hearts. Love, love, love losing to Tribal. If there's one deck I want to lose to, it's Tribal. And we get punched for a lot. Tribal, that being said, not Elves or Goblins. Right? Next one. Alright, next one with Dino Blade. Having fun. Love this deck. It's the right mixture of cool cards and strong cards. Opening hand looks okay. My concern is obviously the double black, being that we only have that. This is going to be a problem going down the line, but I think Knight of the Ebon Legion into Knight into Rotting Regisaur is an okay opener against an unknown opponent on a Kahira deck. They're probably playing a ton of interaction. Control is usually what this yells to me, and that solidifies it. Well, hey, find the second black source for the Spawn of Mayhem, so now can curve out very, very nicely into a Doomscar or a Wrath of God. And we get doing the pose, we get Manatized. Well, next turn I can play out the Knight of the Ebon Legion and they can't Manatize me, so take that, Saifu. Oh, I feel bad. Manatize is such a feel bad card. Every time it hits you. Yeah. Just one of those great gotcha cards, right? I wonder if it's underappreciated. It's one of those cool cards because I feel like a lot of players, myself included, are taught to just play on curve. That's the best way to deploy your hand on curve, and you never really expect Manatize because it's one of those cards that is so far under the radar all the time. So now I'm wondering, do I play out the Rotting Regisaur or do I play out the Robber of the Rich? Robber of the Rich avoids Manatize. I think it's probably just the better play to get the Robber onto the field. Unfortunately, not going to get any value because the opponent's also at 4 cards in hand. But get in for 3. That's not the worst. Alright, and they are up to probably 4 mana with double white. So I can expect the worst now. If they wipe the board, I can go out with the Spawn of Mayhem. Pretty big threat that they'll have to remove immediately. If they don't have a board wipe, yeah. I don't know. Just keep attacking. Oh, it's gonna be a 9 lives deck. Oh, why? Why do you have to be in? Why do you have to be a Solemnity 9 lives deck? Why? All right. So, I gotta kill them quickly. And I feel like I'm walking into a board wipe here. I'm under so much pressure. The Idyllic Tutor for the Solemnity kind of neuters my Spawn of Mayhem. Not really, because I'm not going to be below 10 life, so the Spawn of Mayhem is never going to get the +1/+1 counters. It's irrelevant. But seeing this means so many things. It puts me on such a clock. I got to be faster now, because I can just expect the 9 lives. If I can get the counters on the 9 lives before they can deploy both, but they're at 5 mana now already. Old Teffy, they bounce the Spawn.
I know what must be done. Keep up the pace.
That's interesting. Well, what does 9 lives... Does Spawn of Mayhem get around 9 lives? Is 9 lives only combat damage? I really should look it up. I kind of just want to attack and pump with the Knight. Yeah. Hey, Memory Lapse. That'd be cool to cast. Alright. I don't... We'll see. I still have Bone Crusher Giant in hand, so or in deck. I think Bone Crusher Giant gets around 9 lives. I was actually talking about it today with some of the guys in Discord, and that certainly seems to be the case. So there's still a chance, and once they play 9 lives, they're certainly playing 9 lives here. We'll get to see what... Okay, if a source would deal damage to you, so Spawn of Mayhem is just a source. I was kind of hoping it would say if a source would deal combat damage to you. So the only hope is Bone Crusher Giant. And you better believe I'm going to draw with the Castle Lock Lane. Right? Oh, it's double. Gotta tap my mana properly. So if I do that, and then I have the pathway, I can still play that. So let's try. Now, it's still possible that they have a Memory Lapse, which makes me wonder, should I wait a turn, attack with a Robber with more mana up? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done the Castle Lock Lane in upkeep. I was thinking I'm going to conserve my life total. It doesn't matter what my life total is in this game. I could have taken an extra point of damage. It's irrelevant. So now I have to wonder if they have interaction. I can kill Teferi, right? I don't think they have interaction. And I think this works. We were speculating. Yeah. Oh my god, it feels good. Yes! Take that, you Solemnity 9 Lives player. What a hero. Hero man right there. Okay, do I have anything to deal with Solemnity 9 Lives? No. The answer is certainly no. So Thoughtseize 100% coming in. Fry is pretty interesting against Teferi. And probably Narset. So I think I'm probably okay to bring that in. I feel like Shadow Spear is not going to be very relevant. And maybe go down an Embercleave. Maybe just trim here and there. Probably don't need the full 3 Fry because It's just going to be a few Planeswalker targets with that. And I kind of feel like the Roddy is probably not the best card in this matchup. I want the low to the ground creatures that are going to get in early. Something they have to deal with right away before they can get their lock down. Yeah, alright. Let's... Oh man, that's fun. That is exciting. I love when something like that works out and you hit that record button. Alright, opening hand. Not great. Gotta throw it back. This looks a little better. Probably don't need 2 fries. We got Hero Man, so that's good. Land is good. So, Thoughtseize. I gotta get rid of the combo. The Memory Lapse is gonna be a little annoying, so next turn they'll be able to stop the Dreadhorde Butcher. But that's okay. Second Hero Man. Come on, Memory Lapse it. You know you want to. There you... Oh! That's surprising. I feel like this is a card that you don't really want on the field growing out of control. But maybe they're playing spot removal. I'm certain their sideboard must have a fair amount of cards that hedge against aggro decks. I feel bad now because I definitely forgot about the Mana Tithes and I got my hopes up and I don't know how to feel anymore. Oh man, this is bad. I'm gonna put out a Bone Crusher Giant just for to have something on the ground to apply some pressure. It's so painful. They put Kahira in hand, sure thing. Well, I guess this is fine. So I gotta go through nine lives, and then I have to deal 20 damage to them. So I don't imagine that's really gonna work out. I can hit the Kahira with Fry. I think that's probably fine to do. Maybe the Bone Crusher Giant lines up better against it, but I feel like that card might be more valuable going further into the game. Okay, cycling the irrigated farmland. So they're digging, but I think they're in such a good spot. What? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? Maybe it's a paid actor. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Doesn't matter, though. Somehow, this deck beat Solemnity 9 lives. And I feel great about that. Next one. Alright. More Dino Blade. Loving every minute of it. That's for sure. Opening hand looks like garbage. If only I had another land. We get to go first, which is quite nice. I will mulligan. Wow. Sketchy. Sketchy. So I could keep it, hope to get lucky, find the red source. If I don't, at least I have the Knight of the Ebon Legion into the Spawn of Mayhem for turn 1 and turn 3. It's not very impactful, but I don't know if I want to go down to 5 cards. And then if I do find the red source, the Dreadhorde Butcher plus Bone Crusher Giant are going to be fantastic. So maybe it's worth the risk. It's another fishy one. Let me know if you would keep this one. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to be reckless. And I am going to get rid of... I forgot I had to get rid of a card, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm going to get rid of the Dreadhorde Butcher. So lead on the swamp into the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Wish our opponent a good hello. And we're against... Well, that's a great draw. We are against Izzet. So we can pretend to be a mono black deck for just a little while. And there is the red source, so I will put that out. And guess I attack. Hang on, flash. Spells with flash you cast cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. Alright, so we're ending this game in a very interesting way. Does the opponent block? There's no way they block. Okie doke. Yeah. Easiest pump of my life. Sure. I'm very, very okay with that. I didn't know this card existed. Cunning Nightbonder. Pretty cool. Opponent cracking a Fabled Passage, so they only have 2 mana to do something with this turn. Okay, and they get a forest. Okay, well, things I was not expecting. You can file that under that. I guess I'm attacking in with the Knight of the Ebon Legion again. I got to imagine they have a bunch of flash. And probably Spawn of Mayhem, or is it Rotting Register? I think it's Spawn of Mayhem. Go, you wonderfully disgusting looking demon. Alright, so Cunning Nightbonder again for the opponent. Man, the art on this card is just fantastic. Ikoria had some fantastic looking cards. And I'm a big fan of this card. I don't play a lot of flash strategies, so you know. A Cunning Denial, or sorry, Decisive Denial. What's Cunning Denial? Is that a card? Okay. Alright. So small thing from the opponent there. Land there is just wonderful. So I am going to hit the Nightbonder because I do value it. I think it's probably worth taking care of. And now I could put out the Dreadhorde Butcher or the Bone Crusher. I could put out any of these. I kind of like the idea of putting out the Dreadhorde Butcher and just swinging in. Build that card up. Yeah. Get going with your whirly chain of death. Alright. And as a 2/2, I think it's going to be a pretty annoying card for the opponent to deal with. I don't know what cards they have in their deck, obviously, but if they have more Cunning Nightbonders, I'm okay trading a Butcher for that and dealing 2 damage to something else. So, they're not having any trouble hitting lands. Which, of course not, with Brainstorm. And neither am I. So I guess I play out the Mountain. And I'm just going to attack and probably end up playing both the Bone Crusher and the Rotting Register out to the field. Let's see if they have some flashy goodness. Maybe they're playing the Shark. There's a Shark with flash that like counters something. The card is so good. Yeah, I'm okay with this. So they block the Dreadhorde Butcher. We trade. That's okay. Okay. So as long as they don't have some crazy board wipe, what could they have? I don't know. So take that one. I still don't really know what the opponent's deck is up to. This is a very, very fresh deck to me. Maybe it exists and I just haven't come across it before, but this looks so sweet. So what am I going to bring in? I could bring in Fry and Abrade, pretty good for creature removal in this case. Thoughtseize is probably also not a bad idea. What cards in my deck don't feel particularly impactful against a deck like that? I think if I had Fervent Champions, I'd feel very cautious about attacking with them simply because they have 2/2 flash creatures, so I feel like they're just going to run into their death more often than not. I don't think I really will need Shadow Spear because there's nothing I'm going to be trampling over, and I don't think they're going to be threatening my life total too much. Also, they're going to have Decisive Denial, which is, I believe, counter non-creature spell. Yep. Let's take that out. And then, yeah, let's put in... I think I like a couple of Thoughtseize. I like a couple of Fry. Because they're going to have blue creatures. I'm assuming they're going to have blue creatures. And I think probably 2 Abrades just to round out the removal package. Okay, try something like that. What a way to end this little video. Okie doke. Well, opening hand is real good. Well, I don't know if it's real good, but it's pretty good if I hit the third land. If I don't hit the third land, I'm stuck with a Bone Crusher and a Knight of the Ebon Legion. I think I'm keeping, though. Okay, well, another Knight is not the worst draw. Not ideal either, but I believe in my deck. The deck has been working quite well for the last little while, and it continues to pump along. So I am going to attack in. If they flash in the 2/2, I'm going to kill it with the Bone Crusher. They don't. I'll just put out the Knight of the Ebon Legion. And, yeah, next turn, if they do something, if they tap out, they don't play a blocker, it could be really interesting to play out the Phoenix of Ash, attack for 4, and grow both Knight of the Ebon Legions. And they are not having any more of it. I really wish I could have seen more of that deck, because it looked pretty cool. Video's running long now, so gonna go to a wrap-up. Alright, so Rakdos Dino Blade, or Rakdos Dino Sword, whatever you want to call it, this deck is pretty sweet. You saw the power of the deck. Some of the games kind of went a little bit weird. The game against the 9 Lives deck, the opponent gave up in the third game for whatever reason. We don't know what was in their hand, obviously, and something was weird with that concede. And then in the fourth game against the really cool Flash deck, the opponent just gave up in game 2. Again, I'm not sure. I imagine that opponent missed their third land drop and they just couldn't be bothered. Anyways, the deck is powerful. It has so much going for it. So many of these cards are just like awesome above curve cards. Obviously, Embercleave is a monster. Bone Crusher Giant is also an all-star. Knight of the Ebon Legion is popping up in a ton of decks like Orzhov and Mono Black. Fervent Champion, you know, a staple in mono red aggro decks since it was printed, I think, at least in standard. And then you have other cards. I mean, everything in here is insane, right? This deck is just playing all the best cards. So I think if you are tired of the traditional Rakdos deck in Historic, this is something to definitely try out if you have the cards. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Take care for now.